This podcast, Depraved Heart Murder, The Tupelo Presleys, is a creation of Southern Fried Chicky Productions, LLC, and was produced in Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi. The material presented in this podcast is for general information purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in the podcast interviews do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Southern Fried Chicky Productions, LLC, or Sun Bear Studio, LLC.
Hey y'all, this is Christy McBrayer. I'm the principal member of Southern Fried Chicky Productions, LLC, and your podcast host. This podcast represents the culmination of my 20-year obsession with this fascinating story that occurred in my Mississippi hometown. I hope you enjoy Depraved Heart Murder, The Tupelo Presleys. So I mentioned in the first episode how intrigued I was by the two Presley women. Charlene, the matriarch of the Tupelo Presleys, whom you have already met. And then there is hers and Harold Ray's daughter, Jada. Jada Presley. She is many things. A distant cousin to Elvis Presley, the only daughter of Harold Ray and Charlene Presley, the only sister of Patrick and Brad Presley, a mother, a blue-eyed blonde, a convicted felon, a self-proclaimed fighter, and an alleged biter.
If I'm going to fight you, I will fight you, but I'm not going to bite you. I realize that some people are biters when they fight. That's nasty. I mean, that's like, you wouldn't want to ever do that. I mean, that's probably one of the only things I wouldn't want to do with my mouth.
Jada has actually been compared to the very popular character of Beth Dutton on the hit TV series Yellowstone.
I think I'd put my money on Jada.
The first time I met Jada Presley was on my birthday in October of 2016. I traveled from Austin, Texas in a rented van full of video equipment, my friend Deanna Whaley, and my dog Truman to pick her up from prison. So we are in Pearl, Mississippi, going to the Women's State Correctional Facility to pick up Jada Presley, someone that I will be actually meeting for the first time, even though we grew up in the same part of the world, of the Presley clan that I personally feel has gotten a great raw end of the deal. I was just saying that sometimes people in life think that they are better and that their lives could never have taken them, no matter what, to wind up in the penitentiary. And here we've got a fire just on cue. But in my opinion, all of us could have been this close to something like that happening. They had a lot happen to them, and I'm looking very forward to meeting Jada for the first time. I feel like I completely know her. We certainly have been spending a great deal of time with her mother, Charlene, and got to spend time with her brother, Brad. Feel like there's no question that her father, Harold Ray Presley, the long sheriff of Lee County, was shot under very bizarre circumstances, and that her brother, Patrick, got a very raw end of the stick with depraved heart murder, passed away in prison. And I'm glad that she didn't pass away in prison right now and that we were able to go and pick her up, get her something to eat, get her to her mother's, and I'm really hoping that she's going to be amenable to tell her story. The rest of the Presley clan has been, and they feel like she will be, but I hope so. I laid eyes on Jada Presley for the very first time when I picked her up from prison. We gave each other a big old hug. I brought her some leggings, a top, and some sandals that I picked up at Target before leaving Austin. She has beautiful blue eyes and curly long hair and a big smile. She was grateful to see us. I didn't completely know what to expect, and to be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised. We had a wonderful chat on the way home. I told her that I would take her anywhere that she wanted to eat, a steakhouse, the sky was the limit. And she said that she would just prefer to wait until we got to Charlene's so that she could have her mama's cooking. By the way, it was my birthday, and Charlene was kind enough to have made me a birthday cake and a full spread for Jada's homecoming. Jada's only request to me was a milkshake and a pack of Marlboro Lights. She was really a good softball player, from what I understand, and a good athlete all the way around. She, of course, had 2 older brothers who were rough and tumble. My mama used to call it, they liked to roughhouse. She and her mom, Charlene, will tell you that she was raised to be tough. The Presley name has long been associated with strength and grit. She and her brothers were close growing up, but those boys did not cut her any slack for being youngest or being a girl. That roughhousing most likely prepared her for the notorious JR's bar fight, where she was said to have, quote, left men in a pile, and a bouncer saying, and I quote, that she hit harder than any man ever had. In the past 7 years of knowing the Presleys, being so integrated with them, heck, I dream about them. I learned one obvious thing about Jada Presley. She don't take no shit. She told me once that her daddy always told her never to let anyone get the best of her. He told her to always hold her head up high. And she says that that's why she always has a bit of a smile on her face in her mug shots, because her father, Sheriff Harold Ray Presley, instilled that in her.
By now, I should be able to bench press a Cadillac, as far as that goes. But I just, I hope that I can say 2 years from now, you still can't get me down. I'm down right now. I mean, I just, like I said, got out of prison 3 days ago from a charge that I was not guilty of. But again, they had me over the barrel. They told me they were going to hold me in Lee County Jail, revoke my bond for a year.
And they would have killed her in there.
I had already spent a year in Lee County Jail, and under the conditions of that jail and the way Jim Johnson and his administration runs that jail, I was not staying there. And my only other option was to take a plea of guilt for something I didn't do and go on prison and do my 6 to 9 months and come home. So that's what I did. I wouldn't have done it any other way looking back. I think it was like God guided me through that whole phase, because it was almost it was an answer to my prayers at the time. I was in a bad marriage. There was a lot of things going on. He was in and out of jail. I was in a dark place in my life, and I guess if I ever needed anything, I needed this 8 months in prison to rededicate myself to what I was, taught growing up. My mama and my daddy raised me right. They took me to church. They taught me right from wrong. I was straddling the fence in my life with different things, and it was because of some of the stuff that's happened. And my only way of dealing with it, I'm only human. I can only take so much. People that talk to me and hear my story, they're like, Jada, I can't even begin to wrap my mind around. I mean, it's like a movie. I can't imagine how you've held up through this, and it ain't been easy. If anybody ever needed drugs or a pill or something to take them away from it, I did. I've never been a woman with the addictive personality. I lived life on the wild side. I'm not going to say I haven't. I'm one of those that you only live once. You should try everything once, at least one time, maybe 2 or 3 to see if you like it. Take some pictures, but I just that's just my attitude, and I get that attitude from my daddy and my mama, but I do realize through this whole thing that I got some haters and I got some people, and it's not about me. It's just people that, and it's not really nothing my daddy's done wrong. It's just people that were hating because of all that he did do right.
Vindictive.
It's like they can't, like you said, you mentioned, if you're doing better than them, they can't have it.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted. They got their chance, they took it, they did it.
But vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
That's true. Everybody that's involved in every one of these situations, when they're against me, I can tell that they're thrown in this thing like I am. They're just on the other end of the stick.
But vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
They were a victim of it, just like I was. I have to be this way about it, because if I wasn't, I'd be a real bitter, mean person, and I don't want to be that way. I'm really not. I'm total opposite. My mama gets on me so much. She's like, you're too nice to people. You do anything for anybody. Half of them wouldn't do nothing for you, and that's probably is one of my biggest downfalls, because
got in with some bad crowd.
Right, and the people that run over me are usually the ones that I've been so good to.
Right.
I opened the door to let that happen, and that was some lessons I need to learn. And I mean, honestly, even though I know it now, I still can't let it dictate me and change me and who I really am in the core, because I am who I am. And I mean, just because they're in that position to do that to me at the time, I know that
They pay.
and in the end, it's a no-win situation. Nobody wins in the whole thing.
And I'm not trying to win. They don't have no competition here. I'm not trying to win no prize. I'm not trying to win no glory. I'm not trying to win no sympathy. I just want to live my life in a peaceful way like everybody else. And I want to be the woman I can be, the mother I can be, the daughter I can be. And I just want this all laid down behind me. I want peace with all the people I've come up against all these years, no matter who they are and what they've done. I mean, I forgive them. It's water under the bridge. I've opened the door to let it happen. And like I said, the people that are normally involved, are the ones that hurt me so much when it happens, are victims of the same people that I am. They just use them to hurt me in some kind of way. And I know that those people, I mean, they're human. And I know that they carry that. And, you know, that's just life. That's the way.
We just got to get y'all all a new start. We got to get you a new, good start. You know?
Yeah. And I think Dr. Phil would help them.
I've been for a long time. I wasn't, my mama, we're not the type to just duck tail and run.
That's
but,
a parent.
You know, we wanted to stay here because this is our roots. This is where we come from.
Yeah.
But I think we've outgrown this in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, and you want, when you have tragic things happen, you want to be close to what you know. But it's come to a point in my life where what I've known is what's holding me down.
Hadn't been working.
It's what's holding me down. It's what's reminding me of all the bad things. Even like with my daddy's personal things. I mean, we had a storage room for years. We've just wagged his furniture here and there, just hanging on to every little thing he has we could. And I was like, to the point, you know, Mama, for 10 years we paid for a storage unit for his stuff, and we don't need all his stuff. I mean, and it got to where I took his pictures down, you know, in the house. Like I had one right beside my bed. When I woke up every morning, I seen him holding the phone at the jail with a uniform on. And I mean, I put the picture down one day. My best friend said, "Jada, why don't you have this picture up anymore?" I said, "You know, I've gotten to a point where it's okay. You know, it's okay to let it all go because it's a sad reminder now instead of being something that comforted me."
Right.
You know, you grow over time, and that time does heal things. Nothing that's happened has killed me. It's hurt me. It's got me down. It's knocked me off my feet and winded me several times. But I've always got myself up, dusted myself off, and walked on. And I always will. I always will. You know, I am who I am, and some people hate that, some people love it. The people that really know me love it.
Well, we love it, and we want so much good for y'all and the whole family. I promise.
Thank you, Christy, for everything. I mean, really, you are a blessing so much. I was thinking all night before last. Bless her heart. She came on her birthday, and I mean, you did so much. You brought me an outfit. Really, you did so much for me, and I could have done it several different ways if I left there. But there's not enough I can say to thank you for it. And I just want you to know, I mean, after all the hurt and pain that we've been through and the stuff we've suffered through, you don't know how good it feels to know that somebody, even if it's just two of y'all, that's just, you know, that is brave enough to just stand up and say, we care. We love y'all. We want what's best for y'all. We know that y'all have had a hard time. Because that's something that nobody has really done. I mean, through this whole thing. I mean, we've had people hug us, we've had people, you know, tell us things, but you have went above and beyond what anybody has doing this. And it means so much to me after all this time. It does. It really does. You're so precious.
We're going to get y'all a new start. We're going to make it better. It's a new day. Look.
Yes,
we're at Elvis's Park, and it's a new day. Mwah.
A new beginning. I mean, it is.
That's
Every
right.
day is.
That's right.
You can't take it for granted.
Gosh, we were so hopeful on that crisp October day of 2016, sitting in Elvis Presley Park, that Jada was on her way to a new, wonderful, triumphant chapter in her life. Unfortunately, that was the first, but not to be the last time that I would pick Jada Presley up from Rankin County, Mississippi's Women's State Penitentiary.
Twisted Mayberry, Mississippi. Good old boys club, Kentucky whiskey. it like the river. They hid the facts, now gone like a whisper. I went out of my head, I'll get it back. What makes a depraved heart act? Was it all in the King's name that made the jailbreak? How much more can these men take?
Depraved Heart Murder, The Tupelo Presleys, was written and directed by Christy McBrayer, produced, edited, mixed, and mastered by Melinda Marsalis in Sun Bear Studio. Original music by Bo Lindsey, Brad Elliott, and Christy McBrayer. Deanna Whaley, Director of Audio. Voice talent, Tom Park, Will Vance, Steve Bass, and Joyce Graddy. Thank you to all of the people who graciously participated in interviews, and a very big thank you to Charlene Presley for allowing us the rights to her story and the use of her source material. Depraved Heart Murder, The Tupelo Presleys, is a Southern Fried Chickie copyrighted work.